sure everything's... All right, we're gonna start. Hi, everybody. How are ya? Welcome to the show. Can you hear me okay? I feel like maybe just a little touch louder. Well, hi. Welcome, welcome. It's good to see you. For those of you who were not here last month or who have never seen me before, my name is Michael Goodwin. It is a pleasure to be back. I'm very excited. I have been singing professionally. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I've been singing professionally pretty much my whole life. I started when I was 10 years old in my first professional show. It was, for those of you who are familiar, Amal and the Night Visitors. And I played Amal when I was 10, and then I played Amal again when I was 11, and then the next year my voice had changed. So I had to move on to other pastures. But I really loved that, and the desire to perform has always been there. My father has a little video of me at 2 years old in my diapers singing and dancing to Mozart in the living room. So I've been doing this for quite some time, and I love it. I went to school for opera. What I specialize in is Broadway, musical theater and jazz, which is funny because a lot of these jazz standards that we're familiar with were actually from Broadway shows, which I think is fantastic. And today, my show is going to be a little different than usual. Usually what I do is I discuss 4 or 5 different musicals. I pluck a couple of great songs from them. I show video clips. I sing. I lecture a little bit. I tell stories. But today, we are doing just The Music Man and West Side Story, and we're going to do them side by side because they both came out in 1957, and they're so different. And yet, one of the things I wanted to explore is, how are they all so similar? Because clearly they would be speaking to something that would be similar since they came out at the same time. So I really like kind of pointing out the little parts that are very similar between the two stories. All right, so if you've never seen one of my shows before, like I said, I'll sing, I lecture, I tell stories, I show video clips, and the songs, the words, are almost always on the screen. There may be 1 or 2 that I don't. But if you want to sing along, you are always welcome to sing along. I love it when people join in. And don't worry if you don't sound like Maria Callas or Luciano Pavarotti. I am very loud. So I will most likely be drowning you out anyway. So don't worry about it. And if it brings you joy, I want you to sing, because I love it when people sing. I'm going to put my phone in my bag. I hate having it on me. It's very persistent. And we are going to start. All right, so the structure. They both came out in 1957, and like I said, at first glance, they could not be more different. The Music Man is set in Iowa in 1912. It starts the day before the 4th of July. West Side Story takes place in the Upper West Side of New York City at the mid-1950s in an ethnic blue-collar neighborhood. The Music Man pits con man Harold Hill against the closed-minded town of River City, Iowa, and West Side Story explores the rivalry between 2 gangs because gang violence had really just kind of came to the city at the time. And so you've got the Sharks and the Jets. Now, we're going to take a look at each show by act. So we're going to do Act 1 of The Music Man, then Act 1 of West Side Story, then Act 2 of West Side Story, then Act 2 of The Music Man. Because as much as I love West Side Story, one of my all-time favorite musicals, it's a little sad. And I don't want to end on that. So that's how I've structured it, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. So the story of The Music Man is actually based on a story by Meredith Willson. He is the one who wrote it, and his idyllic boyhood in Mason City, Iowa. It was nominated for 8 Tony Awards. So that's something else we'll do, is at the end, we'll guess. Because they were both nominated for Best Musical. And we're going to guess which one won. If you know, don't ruin it. And so we'll guess at the end, all right? So 8 nominations for Tonys, including Best Musical. And to me, it is the perfect example of Americana on the Broadway stage. So the opening number, this is where we meet all of the other salesmen, and we actually do meet Harold, but we don't know it at first. Come on! Lower the lights just a touch.
Let him go, Orville. I guess we made it plain. We don't want no more traveling salesmen in Brighton.
credit is no good for an ocean salesman.
How far are you going, friend?
Wherever the people are as green as the money, friend.
You hear it okay?
What's the matter with credit?
It's old-fashioned. Charlie, you're an anvil salesman. Your firm give credit?
No, sir.
Nor anybody else.
River City, next station stop, River City, Iowa.
Cash for the merchandise. Cash for the button hooks.
Cash for the cotton goods, cash for the hard goods,
Cash for the fancy goods. Cash for the soft goods.
cash for the noggins and the piggins and the friggins.
Cash for the hogshead cask and demijohn. Cash for the crackers and the pickles and the fly paper.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
What do you talk?
You can talk, you can talk. You can bigger, you can talk. You can bigger, bigger, bigger. You can talk, you can talk. You can talk. Bigger, bigger, bigger. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Why, it's the Model T Ford. Made the trouble, made the people want to go, want to get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2-by-4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
Gone.
Gone with the hogshead cask and demijohn. Gone with the sugar barrel, picket barrel, milk can. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tears.
Ever meet a fella by the name of Hill?
Hill.
Hill! No! Just a minute.
Never heard of any salesman, Hill.
Now, he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory?
What's a fella's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang, beat, bell ringing, big hole, great go, neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill.
What's the fellow's line? What's his line?
He's a fake, and he doesn't know the territory. Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
He's a music man.
He's a what? He's a what?
He's a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums. Big brass bass, and the piccolo with uniforms too, with a shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Mandolin picks, perhaps, and here and there a Jew's harp.
No, the fella sells bands, boys' bands. I don't know how he does it, but he lives like a king, and he dallies, and he gathers, and he plucks, and he shines. And when the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he doesn't know the territory.
River City, station stop, River City. Just crossed the state line into Iowa. Population River City, 2,212. Cigarettes illegal in this state. Oh.
All right, so clearly Harold has his work cut out for him. He's going to River City, Iowa, which is a very close-minded town, and like I said, the rivalry. So you already have the rivalry in the Sharts and Jets, right, in West Side Story, and now we're seeing that there is this rivalry among the sales guys as well. And Harold makes his escape off the train, and he arrives in town, and he slowly begins to figure them out and works on a plan. So he gets settled, and he runs into an old acquaintance who has gone legit. Marcellus is his name. Marcellus tells Harold kind of the layout of the town, including that the one person who can expose him for the fraud that he is Marion the librarian, the only trained musician in town. Now, after he witnesses the installation of a pool table in the local billiards hall, Harold comes up with an idea for how to start winning over the town folks. This is also, by the way, when he sees Marion the librarian for the first time. So the song is Trouble. We're going to see the clip, but I'm going to sing it. So fingers crossed. Well, you got trouble, my friend. Right here, I say trouble right here in River City. Why, sure, I'm a billiard player, certainly mighty proud to say it, always mighty proud to say it. I consider that the hours I've spent with a cue in my hand are golden. Hope you cultivate horse sense and a cool head and a keen eye. Did you ever take and try and give yourself an ironclad lead from a 3-rail billiard shot? But just as I say it takes judgment, brains, and maturity to score in any bulk line game, and I say that any boob can take and shove a ball in a pocket. And I call that sloth the first big step on the road to the depths of degradation. I say first, medicinal wine from a teaspoon, then beer from a bottle, and the next thing you know, your son is playing for money in a pinchback suit. And listen to some big out-of-town Jasper, hear him talk about horse race gambling. Not a wholesome trot race, no, but a race where they set right down on that horse. Like to see some stuck-up jockey boy sitting on Dan Patch? Make your blood boil? Well, I should say. Now, friends, let me tell you what I mean. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pockets on the table, pockets that mark the difference between a gentleman and a bum, with a capital B and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. And all week long, your River City people be frittering away. Say your young men will be frittering away their noontime, chore time, supper time too. Get the ball in the pocket, never mind getting dandelions pulled or the screen door patched or the beefsteak pounded. Never mind pumping any water till your parents are left with a cistern empty on a Saturday night, and that's trouble. Yes, you got lots and lots of trouble. I'm thinking of the kids and the knickerbocker shirt tails, young ones peeking in that pool hall window after school. You got trouble, folks. Right here in River City. Trouble with a capital T that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. Now, I know all you folks are the right kind of parents, so I'm gonna be perfectly frank. Would you like to know what kind of conversation goes on while they're loafing around that hall? They're trying out Bevo, trying out Q-Babs, tailor-mades like cigarette fiends, and bragging all about how they're gonna cover up that telltale breath with sense, and one fine night, they leave that pool hall heading for a dance at the Armory, libertine men and scarlet women and ragtime. Shameless music that'll grab your son, your daughter in the arms of a jungle animal instinct masteria. Friends, the idle brain is the devil's playground trouble. Right here in River City, with a capital T and that rhymes with P and that stands for pool. We surely got trouble. Right here in River City. Remember the Maine, the Plymouth Rock, and the Golden Rule. Oh, we got trouble. Yes, we got terrible, terrible trouble. That game with the 15 numbered balls is the devil's tool. We surely got trouble, trouble, trouble. Oh, yes, we got trouble here. We got big, big trouble with the T. Gonna rhyme with the P. And that stands for pool. Once. Oh, I love that song. All right, now, Harold follows Marion home, but she completely ignores him. He's trying to flirt with her, far from love at first sight. Later, Harold attempts to talk to the town about forming a boys' band. They're also equally uninterested. Then he realizes who holds the real power, the ladies. So he decides to form a ladies' dance committee. Suddenly, the ladies are very much in favor of Harold Hill's ideas. And then he asks them about Marion the librarian, and they reveal their bias against her in the song, Pick a Little, Talk a Little. Now, the school board has been tasked by the mayor to get Harold's credentials, and he just keeps saying he graduated from Gary Conservatory class of 05, or 06, I can't remember exactly what it is. And every time they come to get his credentials, he leads them astray with a song, which is not very difficult because they are, after all, the award-winning Buffalo Bills barbershop quartet. And they originated the role on Broadway. They actually do it in the movie, too. So here is Goodnight Ladies, coupled with Pick a Little, Talk a Little in a perfect little counterpoint, which is really the signature of this musical.
And now the young lady who teaches the piano. Marion Peru, I believe.
Oh!
Well, after all, she is the librarian.
She must have picked him out the first crack out of the box. Talking up to a man like that. He wouldn't take and talk up about her. He didn't take and try turkey talking to him, brazen.
Now to take her ticket and punch it for her.
Picked her out first crack like a cheap jack. Not much pick to her, if you ask me. Pick a little, talk a lot.
Pick a little, talk a little.
Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap. Talk a lot, pick a little more. Pick a little, talk a little. Pick a little, talk a little. Cheap, cheap, cheap.
Professor, her kind of woman doesn't belong on any committee. Of course, I shouldn't tell you this, but she advocates dirty books.
Books?
Chaucer, reveling, Balzac. And the worst thing, of course, I shouldn't tell you this.
I'll tell.
The man lived on my street. Let me tell.
So, I'll tell. She made brazen overtures to a man who never had a friend in this town till she came here. Old Miser Madison.
Miser Madison?
Miser...
Madison.
Madison Picnic Park, Madison Gymnasium, Madison Hospital, that miser Madison?
Exactly. Who did he think he was, anyway?
Well, I should say, the show-off. He gave the town the library, too, didn't he?
That's just it. When he died, he left the library building to the city.
But he left all the books to her.
She was seen going and coming from his place.
Oh, yes, that woman made brazen overtures with a two-touch guarantee. She'd a golden glint in her eye and a silver voice with a counterfeit ring. Just melt her, darling, you'll reveal a lump of lead as cold as steel here, where a woman's heart should be.
He left River City, the library building, but he left all the books to her.
Chaucer, Rabelais, Balzac.
Just a minute here, Professor. Sorry, we need your credentials.
Why, certainly, gentlemen. I have just what you want over my hotel. Please come with me. Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies.
Good night, ladies. Good night, ladies. We're going to leave you now. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. Farewell, ladies. We're going to leave you now.
Great song, is it? You know, when I was a kid, I thought it was really silly that he could lead them astray with a song, and now that I'm an adult, it would be very easy to lead me astray with a song. Just no question about it. All right, so Harold goes to the library and once again tries to flirt with Marion, who once again ignores him. He then declares his love for her in the song Marion the Librarian, and she forgets her decorum for just a moment and dances with Harold, and he steals a kiss. She then tries to slap him, but he ducks out of the way, and she whacks this kid instead, and it's a whole thing. It becomes a whole thing. It's very, very cute. So here's the song, Marion the Librarian. Madam Librarian, what can I do, my dear, to catch your ear? I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marion, heaven help us if the library caught on fire and the volunteer hose brigademen had to whisper the news to Marion. Madam Librarian, what can I say, my dear, to make it clear? I need you badly, badly, Madam Librarian. Marion, had I stumbled and I busted my whatchamacallit, I would lie on your floor unnoticed till my body had turned to Marion. Madam Librarian. Now in the moonlight, a man could sing it. In the moonlight, and a fellow would know that his darling had heard every word of his song with the moonlight helping along. But when I try, my dear, to tell you here, I love you madly, madly, Madam Librarian. Marion, it's a long lost cause I can never win, for the civilized world accepts as unforgivable sin any talking out loud with any librarian, such as Marion. Madam Librarian. Thank you. So Robert Preston got the parts of the show, in the original Broadway production, because the audition piece was the song Trouble, right? And it is an incredibly tricky song. And one of the things that he did was he learned it like he would learn lines, being an actor. He just learned them like he learned lines, and he landed the part, and it wasn't until they started rehearsing that they found out he couldn't actually sing. And so they really had to simplify some of the songs in order to accommodate his voice, because really the role is so his role. It's really such a great role. All right, now, Marion finds evidence against Harold in the Indiana State Education Journal, and she tries to give it to the mayor, but they are interrupted by the arrival of the Wells Fargo wagon. It might be the band instruments. Everybody is so excited. Now, Winthrop, Marion's brother, has been mostly silent through the entire show up until this point because he has a terrible lisp and he's very embarrassed about it and he hates to talk. But he is so excited by the possible arrival of his new cornet that he totally forgets about his lisp, and Marion starts to see Harold in a new light. So maybe he is a fraud, but look what he's actually brought to the town. The amount of happiness and eagerness and excitement. This town hasn't been like this since she can remember. So she tears the incriminating page out of the Education Journal before giving the book to Mayor Shin. And the song, the Wells Fargo Wagon song, ends Act 1. So here we go.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-coming down the street. Oh, please let it be for me.
Ba, ba, ba.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-coming down the street.
I wish I knew what it could be.
I got a box of maple sugar on my birthday. In March, I got a great Mackinac.
And once I got some grapefruit from Tampa.
Montgomery Ward sent me up at the band across the saw. Is that the first thing I said or not?
Yes, George.
Yes, the very first thing I said, or I'll eat hay with a horse. Get that spellbinder's credentials, I said. Morning of July 4th, 1912. And now look, my wife is off dancing at any and all hours instead of in the home. And the schoolboy is singing up street and down alley instead of tending to city matters. My oldest girl is bootling around with some wild kid, and my business has fell off so far I can't find the balance sheet.
Mayor Shin, I found something very interesting in this book about Professor Hill's alma mater.
I know all about that. In fact, that's all I can ever get out of him. Gary Conservatory, class of '05.
But if you just take time to read a little about the conservatory, you wouldn't have to look any further. It's on page...
Papa, the Wells Fargo wagon is coming this way.
Wells Fargo wagon?
It could be the band instruments.
The band instruments?
But Mayor Shin...
Later.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-comin' now. Is it a prepaid surprise or COD?
It could be curtains
Or dishes. Or a double boiler.
Or it could be.
Yes, it could be. Yes, you're right. It surely could be.
Something special.
Something very, very special now.
Just for me.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-comin' down the street. Oh, don't let him pass my door. Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon is a-comin' down the street. I wish I knew what he was coming for.
I got some salmon from Seattle last September.
And I expect a new rocking chair. I hope I get my raisins from Fresno.
The DAR have sent a cannon for the courthouse square.
Here's Winthrop.
Oh, the Wells Fargo wagon, it's a-coming now. I don't know how I can ever wait to see. It could be something for someone who is no relation, but it could be something special just for me.
Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, keep us coming. Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, keep us coming. Oh, you Wells Fargo wagon, don't you dare to make us stop until you stop for me.
Here you are, Winthrop.
My cornet? Gee, thanks, Professor. Sister, isn't this the most scunty solid gold thing we ever saw? I never thought I'd ever see anything so scunty as a solid gold thing. Oh, sister.
And that is, of course, little Ron Howard. Oh my God, he was so cute. I forgot how cute he was. Okay, so that's the end of Act 1. Now Act 1 of West Side Story. So the theme, right? So we have the rivalry is the theme that we discussed with the salesman. And of course, we have the rivalry with the Sharks and the Jets in West Side Story. But the opening number, the structure, the actual musical structure of the shows is so very different. So we have these extended dance scenes, right? And the very first one, West Side Story, there aren't even any words. And the original of the opening of The Music Man was nothing but words, that patter, right? Very reminiscent of, Gilbert and Sullivan almost, right? So then we have West Side Story with nothing but dance to tell the story of the Montagues and Capulets, which of course, the Sharks and the Jets. I thought this is what tough guys did.
Come on.
So very different from Music Man, right? So the West Side Story, the musical was actually inspired by Romeo and Juliet and the arrival of gangs and gang violence in the city in the 50s, and it was nominated for 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. And the dark theme and those extended dance scenes really marked, there was this change coming in the Broadway musical, and this was really one of those musicals that sort of showcased how things were starting to change on stage. It's kind of cool. Now, Riff, the leader of the Jets, goes to his friend Tony, who now works at Doc's drugstore, to enlist his help in an upcoming rumble to settle a territorial dispute once and for all. Well, we'll see about that. But Tony is very hesitant. He's kind of outgrown this, really. And he is looking for more in life, but he does have this feeling that something is coming. So it doesn't take a lot for Riff to sort of convince him to at least go to the dance to talk terms, which is neutral ground. And then Tony sings the song Something Coming, which I love this piece of music. And one of the reasons I love it so much is because it's so hard. I love a challenging piece of music. So here is Something's Coming. Could be, there's something due any day. I will know right away, soon as it shows. Make him cannonballing down through the sky, gleaming inside, bright as a rose. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due, coming true, coming for me. Could it be? Yes, it could. Something's coming, something good. If I can wait, something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is gonna be great. With a click, with a shock, phone will jingle, door will knock. Open the latch. Something's coming, don't know when, but it's soon. Catch the moon, one-handed catch. Around the corner, a whistling down the river. Come on, deliver to me. Will it be? Yes, it will. Something's coming, howling still. I'll be there. Come on, something, come on in. Don't be shy, need a guide. Pull up a chair. The air is summer, and something great is coming. Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach. Maybe tonight, maybe tonight, maybe tonight. Thank you. Thank you. I made the mistake of actually looking at the lyrics, which always throws me off. I don't know why I did. All right, so G. Officer Krupke. This is a great piece, and it's clearly the comic relief in the show, right? But if you look at the actual lyrics, the things that they are discussing in this song have never before been discussed in a Broadway musical. They are talking about alcoholism, drug use, child abuse, neglect, the system that's keeping like an oppressed group oppressed. It's very, very interesting song. So laugh, but see what Sondheim, with his first outing as a lyricist, is really saying.
Hey, you!
Who, me, Officer Krupke?
Yeah, you! Give me one good reason for not dragging you down to the station house, you punk!
Dear kindly Sergeant Krupke, you gotta understand, it's just our bringing upkeep that gets us out of hand. Our mothers all are junkies, our fathers all are drunks. Golly Moses, naturally we're punks. Gee, Officer Krupke, we're very upset. We never had the love that every child ought to get. We ain't no delinquents, we're misunderstood. Deep down inside us there is good. There is good, there is good, there is good, there is untapped good. Like inside, the worst of us is good.
That's a touching good story.
Let me tell it to the world.
Just tell us to the judge.
Dear, kindly judge your honor, my parents treat me rough with all their marijuana. They won't give me a puff. They didn't want to have me, but somehow I was had. Leap on lizards, that's why I'm so bad.
Right, Officer Krupke, you're real square. This boy don't need a judge, he needs an analyst care. It's just his neurosis that ought to be coined. He's psychologically disturbed.
I'm disturbed.
We're disturbed, we're disturbed,
We're the most disturbed, like we're psychologically disturbed.
Hey! In the opinion of this court, this child is depraved on account he ain't had a normal home.
Hey, I'm depraved on account I'm deprived.
So take him to a head shrinker. You!
Who, me?
Oops. My daddy beats my mommy clobbers me. My grandpa is a commie, my grandma pushes tea. My sister wears a mustache, my brother wears a dress. Goodness gracious, that's why I'm a mess.
Yes, Officer Krupke, he shouldn't be here. This boy don't need a couch, he needs a useful career. Society's played him a terrible trick. Unsociologically, he's sick.
I am sick.
We are sick, we are sick, we are sick, 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 like we're sociologically sick.
In my opinion, this child does not need to have his head shrunk at all. Juvenile delinquency is purely a social disease. Hey, I got a social disease. So take him to a social worker. Which way? That way.
Dear kindly social worker, they tell me get a job, like be a soda jerker, which means like be a slob. It's not I'm antisocial, I'm only anti-work. Glory, Aki, that's why I'm a jerk.
Yes, Officer Krupke, you've done it again. This boy don't need a job, he needs a year in the pen. It ain't just a question of misunderstood. Deep down inside him, he's no good. I'm no good.
We're no good, we're no good, we're no earthly good. Like the best of us is no that good. The trouble is he's lazy.
The trouble is he drinks.
The trouble is he's crazy.
The trouble is he stinks.
The trouble is he's growing.
The trouble is he's grown.
Krupke, we've got troubles of our own. Officer Krupke, we're down on our knees.
Cause no one wants a fella with a social disease.
Officer Krupke, what are we to do? Officer Krupke, Krupp you!
Great song. So Riff, the guy who plays Riff, originally auditioned for Tony. He wanted Tony, but I can't imagine him in any other role than that role. I think he's so good. All right, so at the dance, Tony meets Maria. They see each other from across the gymnasium, Bernardo's sister, and they are drawn to one another. They dance and they fall in love. Bernardo pulls his sister from Tony and sends her home because she has been promised to Chino. The arranged marriage is the whole reason she's in the United States to begin with. Anybody forgot that little plot point? I had totally missed that somehow. I don't know how. It was really weird, and I've done the show. It's very strange. Okay, so after the dance, Tony happily wanders the streets and finds himself outside of Maria's building and serenades her outside of her bedroom. She comes out on her balcony, the fire escape, of course, and the two profess their love for one another, and then he leaves and sings of this newfound love in one of the most beautiful songs, I think, that's been written for Broadway. Using the devil's chord, by the way. Bum, ba-dum. That was forbidden by the Catholic Church to be played because it aroused too much passion in people. Isn't that interesting? I love that. All right, so here we go. The augmented fourth. Most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria, 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 Maria. All the beautiful sounds of the world in a single word. Maria, Maria. just met a girl named Maria, and suddenly that name will never be the same to me. Maria, I just kissed a girl named Maria, and suddenly I found how wonderful a sound can be. Maria, say it playing, say it soft and there's almost like praying. Maria, I'll never stop saying, Maria, 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 I'll never stop saying, Maria. The most beautiful sound I ever heard. Maria. What a piece of music, man. All right, thank you very much. So one of the main structural differences between the shows is how they use dance. There is dance in The Music Man, but the way dance tells the story in West Side Story was really quite unprecedented. So The Music Man doesn't have a ton of dancing, and then we have these huge extended dance scenes in West Side Story, and probably the one, if class conflict is a central theme in the show, America is probably the best example of a dance telling that story. So here we go. Maybe.
Once an immigrant, always an immigrant.
Hey, look, instead of a shampoo, she's been brainwashed.
Stop it.
Just give it a Puerto Rico and now she's queer for Uncle Sam.
Oh, that's not true.
Puerto Rico, my heart's devotion. Let it sink back in the ocean. Always the hurricanes blowing, always the population growing, and the money owing, and the sunlight streaming, and the natives steaming. I like the island Manhattan.
I know you do.
Smoke on your pipe and put that in.
I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America.
For a small fee in America.
Buying on credit is so nice.
One look at us and they charge twice.
I have my own washing machine.
What will you have, though, to keep clean?
Skyscrapers bloom in America. Cadillac bloom in America. Industry boom in America.
12 in a room in America.
Lots of new housing with more space.
Lots of doors slamming in our face.
I'll get a terrace apartment.
Better get rid of your accent.
Life can be bright in America.
If you can fight in America.
Life is alright in America.
If you're all white in America.
side.
Long as you stay on your own side.
Free to be anything you choose.
Free to wear devils in sharp shoes.
Everywhere crime in America, organized crime in America, terrible time in America.
You forget I'm in America.
I think I go back to San Juan.
I know a boat you can get on. Bye-bye.
Everyone there will give big cheers.
Everyone there will have moved here.
Wonderful song. I love it. I love it. I considered shortening it, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do it. All right, so Maria is happy with the anticipation of seeing Tony again. She learns about the upcoming Rumble and asks him to stop it, and he agrees that he will do that. Before he goes, they dream of their wedding, even dressing up in the dress shop as husband and wife, and they have their wedding. They sing the song One Hand, One Heart. All right, so the gangs meet under the highway for the Rumble. Tony does try to stop it. He is ridiculed and held back while Riff and Bernardo fight. And Bernardo ends up killing Riff, mostly because of Tony's interference. And in his anguish, he then kills Bernardo. At the end of Act 1, we are left with 2 dead bodies on stage, which had never before happened in a Broadway musical. In fact, one of the places where I sing, there's a lady who had emigrated from China about 2 weeks, apparently, before she saw West Side Story in the original production on stage. And she said, I sat there and I thought, this is why I have moved to this country, because you can see the truth on stage. It was really amazing. I thought that was really amazing of her. Okay. End of Act 1. Act 2. Now remember, Maria doesn't know what happened at the Rumble. So in her happiness, she gets all of the girls to sing I Feel Pretty with her. Then Chino brings news that Tony has killed Bernardo, and she does not believe that. She flees to her bedroom, praying that he is lying. When Tony arrives, she can tell by his face that it's true. She is enraged, but she still loves him. It's not us, it's everything around us, they say. They plan to run away together, and they sing the song Somewhere. Now, this is the song that actually is reprised at the very end of the show, when Tony is dying in her arms. And so I thought that I would sing this as the homage to Act 2 for West Side Story. And this is another one of those just achingly beautiful pieces of music. There's a place for us, somewhere a place for us, peace and quiet and open air, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, we'll find a new way of living. We'll find a way of forgiving somewhere. There's a time for us someday, a time for us, time together with time to spare, time to learn, time to care. Someday, somewhere, we'll find a new way of living. Find a way of forgiving somewhere. There's a place for us, a time and a place for us. Hold my hand and we're halfway there. Hold my hand and I'll take you there. Somehow, someday, What a delicious piece of music that is. Okay, that's the end of Act 2 for West Side Story. Now let's do Act 2 of The Music Man. So, the ladies and Marcellus lead all of the kids in town. In a big ice cream social, there's a big dance called the Shapoopy. In the movie, it's like 15 minutes long. It's really, it's very, very long, but it's cute. It is very cute. Harold grabs Marion to dance with her, and this time everybody approves, of course. Then another traveling salesman arrives, and he wants to expose Harold as the fraud that he is. But Marion thwarts his attempts and meets Harold at the footbridge, where she confesses that she's known the truth about him and loves him anyway. And this is the song that she sings. There were bells on the hill, but I never heard them ringing. No, I never heard them at all, till there was you. There were birds in the sky, but I never saw them winging. No, I never saw them at all, till there was you. And there was music, and there were wonderful roses, they tell me, in sweet, fragrant meadows of dawn and dew. There was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was you. and there was music, and there were wonderful roses, they tell me, in sweet, fragrant meadows of dawn and there was love all around, but I never heard it singing. No, I never heard it at all, till there was What a lovely little song. Okie dokie. So the townspeople begin an agitated search for Harold. And now throughout the entire show, he has graduated from Gary Conservatory class of 05, right? And what we discover in the Indiana State Education Journal is that the conservatory wasn't even founded until 06. But this time, instead of running, he chooses to stay. Why? Because he heard Marion singing 76 Trombones, which is his song. And he sings her song. And then we know that they're going to be in love forever, right? Which is how real life works, I think. So he decides to face the music and lead the boys' band in the minuet in G using the think methods. Probably more accurately, the stink method, because they're terrible. But nobody cares. It's amazing. And so that is how the show ends. So we're going to actually see Matthew Broderick leading the boys' band, and then it's going to switch to the movie. We're going to sing 76 Trombones, and then we're going to guess who won the Tony. So here we go.
Think, men. Think.
1, 2.
That's my Barney. That too is my Barney. Just look at him. He's so wonderful.
Linus, play to me, son. Play to me. That's Eddie's clarinet.
Dave, my Dave.
That's my Gavin.
Alright, here we go. 76 trombones led the big parade with 110 cornets close at hand. They were followed by rows and rows of the finest virtuosos, the cream of every famous band. 76 trombones caught the morning sun with 110 cornets right behind. There were more than 1,000 feet stringing up like weeds. There were horns of every shape and kind. There were copper-bottom timpani with horse platoons, thundering, thundering all along the way. Double-bell euphoniums and big bassoons, each bassoon having its big fancy. There were 50 mountain cannon in the battery, thundering, thundering louder than before. Clarinets of every size and trumpeters who'd improvise a full octave higher than the sky. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, now, who won the Tony? Who thinks the Music Man won the Tony? Okay, well, good number. Who thinks West Side Story won the Tony? Me too! And we were all wrong. It was the Music Man actually won the Tony. The Music Man won the Tony, right. Now, West Side Story did, however, win a rather distinguished award as the first musical to win the Academy Awards. All right, it's not too bad. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope you had a good time. So I'll be back in a few months. We're skipping because we did January, February. Now we're going to skip March, April, May, and I think I'm back in June. So I will see you in the summer. Until then, mwah, hugs and kisses from a distance. It was good to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Bye.